Hi everyone, I'm Tanya the Lady Strange. It's been a while since I've done one of these, but this is going to be another installment of my tales of my personal hauntings. Yeah. Well, and I have a playlist for this, and this will be added to that, of course. So the tales of my personal hauntings, just to revisit or reintroduce, are things that have happened to me since I can remember in this life. My personal hauntings, that means paranormal experiences, spiritual interactions, dreams, magic, astral, using tools like Ouija board, tarot cards, places I've traveled, people I've interacted with, experienced magic, spiritual gnosis, and pathworking, and just overall things that have stuck with me, shaped me from my experience, my path, as my path is ever changing, but I am a left-hand path witch. I became more leaning. This ties into this video, that's why I'm mentioning it, and for perspective. But ever since I remember, I saw spirits, I channeled things I heard and saw and perceived what others did not, and often feelings of others that I didn't know where come from, and eventually started realizing it was from the people around me, my family, my friends, teachers, etc., but also the land and things that were not there, and spirits and things that I noticed others were not seeing. Now, many of them did stick with me. Many were scary, frightening, and possibly traumatic because I didn't understand. It was not the point for me to understand, but I slowly did. And as time, age, gnosis, and experience happens, of course, understanding comes. We learn to leave behind certain restrictions, certain frameworks, certain things that were expectations or how we were grown up, or what we saw or experienced also in this human life and experience. And so my gifts were always there. I just didn't tell anyone until I was older. And I found my actual spiritual path, meaning witchcraft, officially when I was 15, but I know I've been my whole life. It's just what I am, inherently a part of my soul and of my previous lives from what I know of my gnosis and experience and pathworking, as I said. Self-work is a very important thing, to know thyself and to know thy power. It's very important. So if you don't know yourself, how the fuck are you going to know anything else or others or show up for that which matters in your life? Especially yourself, but those relationships and things that matter too. So with that being said, so this installment, I'm warning you now to turn back. I'm not big on trigger warnings because we should be all adults here watching. This is not for kids. We're adults. We should all be responsible for our own selves and how we handle things. Yes, I get triggered by many things. I work through them, or I deal with them the best way I can and learn and grow and acknowledge. So I'm just saying now that this video is going to be an encounter with a very powerful entity I came in encounter with officially last year in 2024, approximately March or in April, but now I realize as I look back at pictures, memories, experiences, stillness, gnosis, that he has been here in this whole life and in previous experiences, as I mentioned, that I've encountered through my meditations, my path working, and slowly moving myself into becoming very receptive and understanding and expanding and moving through my personal restrictions and my own personal biases and things that I have assimilated as I've been since a child, that we all have, especially through Abrahamic religions. Even if it wasn't something extremely strict, I still went to church. I still participated in Bible school, not by really necessarily choice, but I was a good child, a good daughter, that type of thing. And always tried to be the best person, I guess, that I could be, and of course to please others. So I was in that. I participated in church dinners, groups, things like that. Again, not forcefully, but again, a big part of that at certain points. And then there was eventually a point when I stopped going. It just didn't resonate with me no more. I already started finding my path or what I truly am, and my experience, and hence here I am. So this experience, again, turn back, if this subject may be triggering, it may invoke fear, frightening, things with dogma, etc. However, this is me, this is my channel, my experience. I am the Lady Strange, however. I believe in reality, not hiding in that. I have hid most of my life in many aspects, and part of my path and part of my pride, working still from the Black Lent, which is Black Lent, is being true to myself, my authenticity, the good, the bad, the ugly, and mostly in between. That which makes the Lady Strange, Tanya herself, and that is including my inherent magic and witchcraft. So without further ado, I will be talking about Lucifer. Now, Lucifer officially came to me, as I said, I believe, give or take. Didn't look at my exact dates or fully prepare for this. It is what it is. So basically, sit back, grab a cup of tea, adult beverage, depending on the time you're looking at, and I will mention a little bit about my experience and how we officially started in this experience and how I'm starting to expand with that. And look at this amazing cup. And I'm drinking some lovely spiced mulled cider tea, as it's a cold day and it's appropriate, and it's what's there by Republic of Tea. So enjoy. So basically, a lot of my stuff, as I mentioned, comes through channeling and sleep, especially things that I may not find as palatable or easy to approach me, maybe in my very over-analytical day-to-day life and experience, come to me in my sleep. And this has happened, as I said, throughout my whole life. Things that I saw when I was about to sleep or drift between, the awakened perception and going into the sleep and the subconscious and letting go, that type of thing, or things that I seen and felt, things that scared the hell out of me. So basically, last year when I was unemployed for an extended period of time that I did not expect, but I have a job now. The job is what it is. Well, I'm not going to go into that. That's not what this video is about. But in the context, I was unemployed for a longer period of time. Also, my husband's schedule changed at that point, so it was a different experience again for me, for him, etc. So all these things tied into my home life, but also my magical spiritual practice, and especially spiritually and energetically. And I had a lot of fucking energy and wavering all over the place because I was having a hard time finding a job, worried about my survival, my responsibilities, and providing for myself and that which matters, including my husband, our experience. So I was having a lot of very strange journeying and dreams and things I didn't understand, and a lot of spirits coming, and a lot where I eventually now am 100% better, where I've had to acknowledge boundaries, analyze myself, and then plummet more into the world of self-work. So one night this is no exception, I was asleep, woke up out of a sleep, typically the magical hours between 2 to 4 a.m. That's typical for me, for the most part anyways, but yes. Many of you, I'm sure if you're watching this, or a practitioner, occultist, or just had a regular person with plain paranormal experiences, or been told or watched anything or have an interest, know that actually comes from the magical liminal time, of course. The dead of night, that type of thing, things are more still, the world's more quiet, at least in my area of the world and experience. So I was asleep and something woke me up out of a sleep. Sort of a weird, strange inkling, fear, crippling fear, and knowing something was watching me, a presence. Well, again, nothing unusual for me. There's that each and every day since I can remember. So again, not that, but then again, that you'll kind of get that feeling of tingling and things coming up and etc., that you're being watched. And obviously I knew no one was in the house. I was locked in safely, I was alone, I was asleep, etc. Cats were quiet. So I looked out into, you sleep with the bedroom door facing a hallway. Well, this is my eyes, coming out of sleep. You're trying to adjust and figure out what the hell's there, that type of thing. Yeah, hell. So basically, it was basically I would have to say 8 foot tall. Sort of, it's a combination of a figure. Well, should I say figure? Well, it is what it is, again, rambling. So basically, and I could tell it was about 8 foot, and it was distinctly male presence. Male, masculine energy, powerful, knowing energy, recognition energy. I recognized, and yet I didn't recognize. And yet I saw form, and it looked like nothing I've ever seen in my life before. With sort of red piercing eyes. I felt fear and like what was happening and trying to gain my footing, my perception, my rational mind, of course, and going back into the consciousness. And then it spoke. It stood there and I looked, and pretty much it said in a very distinct, clear voice, "You should observe my wisdom." And I'm like, huh? That's all it said. And just for a brief moment, stood there in the hallway. Didn't come towards me, didn't do anything menacing, anything like that. Just, "You should observe my wisdom." Very authoritative, very dominant, but not pushing on me, that type of thing. More as a very deep suggestion and reference. So I woke up that next morning. I finally got to sleep. I don't remember how long it took me, but that's not relevant. I woke up next morning and it stuck with me and stuck with me. So I started looking up. What the heck is "you should observe my wisdom"? That felt extremely relevant upon just the presence. So I kept coming across some weird stuff or things from the Bible. Yeah. Went to church, like I said, so I'm familiar with it. Not 1,000%. A lot of it's kind of left me, but it's the Bible. So there was a lot of Christian religious references when I looked it up in Google, and trying to meditate and reflect and possibly ask the spirits and guides I work with for any, maybe clarification or gnosis. I didn't get much. So I kept doing that. I talked to a couple of people I trust that are open-minded, friends and such, that I hold close and dear to me. But still, everyone thought that was odd. The few, very 2 people or so I told thought it was strange. Then as time started going by, I started having other signs, and I've always been attracted, as I mentioned in of course, The Lady Strange, to the macabre, the magical, and the occult. That which others find. I loved horror movies, dark literature, possibly things that others may find very disturbing or triggering. Well, that's me. A lot of times I didn't express it, but it was in there. So lots of little things kept cropping up. I already had, and I'm going to show you something here. I already had and I got at this time, I already had for months, the small version, which I don't work with very much, and the large version, which I've been working slowly, surely with, the larger version of the Goetia Tarot deck by Fabio Lastrani. Now, the larger one is the Kickstart version. I was fortunate enough to order it off of Los Garabao's site, I believe, before it went out of print. But I already had that with the mass market. And I wanted it for the big guidebook. So I did. So this is one of the cards that came in the much larger version. This is holographic, so excuse the poor lighting here in my altar room. But Lucifer. So this deck is magical. This larger version has such a presence, such a voice. The demons, the fallen ones in this deck, such a gnosis a truth, an experience, and things to learn from, to understand, and shadowy, and perception, and intuition, and truth. Well, a larger version also came with this deck of this card. It's a very large card. I mean, look at my hands. I got small hands, but just look at it lengthwise, just for perspective. So basically, and it came with a larger print, not huge, but a much larger print, which I have framed and is on my larger altar. You can go back and check somewhere towards the fall of last year, my altar video. I kind of updated it since then, meaning the altar itself, but I made a place for it because so many synchronicities and signs started coming into play, and also memories and things, and embracing. And as I'm working through further on myself and my gnosis, and just marrying the magic and the mundane and the left-hand path and how it marries into my human experience, but my magical practice, it became more prevalent. This is a beautiful depiction. Now, he appears in different ways to me, but not as much as like that same form anymore. It is sort of, can be like the wings here, but it's also many dark other things. He is a morning star and the evening star and a Venus. You can look it up. But it's been guiding me. He's known as the light bearer, light bringer, kind of like Hecate. He illuminates a lot, and a lot of wisdom and gnosis. Again, this is just me and my experience, my opinion and path working. Again, to each their own, long as it causes no harm, disrespect, and you're trying to be the best person and version of yourself and what your experiences is. That's all it is. So, it is number 78 in this deck. And, of course, it's the devil. The devil, Satan, Lucifer, Samael. All same faces or different aspects, just as Tanya is the Lady Strange. Tanya is also a wife, a woman. Oh, I work hard. Day to day, I'm a daughter. I have experience. I'm a witch. I am a friend. Yeah. So isn't that? Now, again, it is very disciplined at the same point, teaching you about motivation, discipline, and will, but also strength and resilience, and having compassion for yourself through the thick and thin, and grace, but also having compassion that others have their own path and experience. Even if you don't understand it, it's not that. Also to find liberation and freedom from that which constrains you. That means hiding behind the mask all the time, living in fear or fearing things you don't understand, but trying to understand better and find gnosis. Also, making effort and more accountability. I was always big into accountable and hold myself accountable, but since I've been working further on the left-hand path in an open way, and with Lucifer, and Hades also. Hades has helped me with this much longer than evidently that I've known in actual conscious perception than Lucifer. But with the whole discipline, the know thyself, know thy power. And that also is not just a magical occult. Well, it is magical occult, but also overlays into my human experience and is only helping me to heal and grow and expand and know myself, my magic, and my resolve and my resolution. Yes, it's scary and dark. I don't understand a lot of it, but that's where learning and discernment takes place from. You have to embrace things maybe with an open mind, or try to be. If you're trying your best as you can and expand, you may learn many new things and new things about yourself. So then came in, and now it's kind of like I went head in. Now, again, this is not for everybody. You may look at me, you may judge me, whatever. Again, I'm the best, being the best version of myself, showing up for myself. Those in my life, relationships, and what matters. I feel better, healthier. I do have many moments and tower moments, as I mentioned in my previous videos. And yes, but it helps me as he has given me grace. I also see in pictures, as I mentioned, and experience that he was always there in the shadows, and a tall, tall figure in energies as I've always seen it in one of those scenes. But the experience was, the time was not right for me to fully express. I showed myself, but to fully start connecting, you had to be at a certain point in a certain gnosis as time, prudence, and relevance is. And he had respect for me as I have for him, and for all the spirits and deities and guides and relationships I have in my life. So is it scary knowing that and seeing that in pictures? Yes. Was he in pictures where I saw one or two where I was in church? Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, he was there. He was there through certain things I saw growing up. Many things I shouldn't have seen as a child or as a daughter going into shaping me, becoming a woman, that type of thing, that I saw that I've experienced. Did I have the worst life? No. Did I have many horrible traumas and experiences that I'm still dealing with, as even just being in my 46th year? Yes. But I believe I'm still standing because of his presence and his vigilance and protection and his light. And it's only helping me to be a more healed version of myself. I hope this helps others, because again, what you may fear may also be something trying to help you or enlighten you or be protecting you. Again, it's all about discernment and educating yourself and going through experience and giving grace and compassion. So with that, I hope this all finds you well, of course. And if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Be respectful if you're going to comment anything on there. If this is not your cup of tea, as I say, leave it behind and move on. Otherwise, I wish you all well, and of course, stay strange.